I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are set to explore the enigmatic and captivating world of the woods. It is written by a remarkable author. His name is Mark Relic. This book invites readers into a mysterious realm that blurs the lines between life, death, and the unknown, challenging our perceptions of reality and our place within it. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Sweet Spire Literature Management for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Mark, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much. You're very kind. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure is all mine. Love the book. It's very imaginative. You've created quite a world that's very philosophical in many aspects as well. What made you come up with the idea of blurring these lines between life and death and the unknown and so forth in the woods?
Well, yeah, so I have to say, that's a very, very interesting observation you just pointed out. And thank you for that. Yes, well, actually, yeah, it is quite a mysterious and enigmatic, the way you just put it. And actually, the woods has a quite unique and simple language to it. So the interesting thing about the woods, and I always say this, one of the most significant things is that every time I talk about the book, I can talk about it in different ways. It always brings up the different kind of conversation, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I don't have that tendency to repeat myself. I always tend to talk differently about it. But I would say that quite paradoxically, I can't quite divulge much because it's, like you said, it's a very unique experience. So I think that bears a secret to every reader, specifically myself included. And it's a very, very specific thing about that title. And this has been something that's been following me for quite a while. And just it was just a sound of it, the right feeling for it, and it's something totally different than I've written before. So I think this is somewhat different than my other works.
Right.
So yeah, it's like it's all the specific thing about it. It's always a different exploration. Each and every time I come back to it, it's a different experience. So it's a different experience every time I read it. So yeah, that's one of
Well,
the.
like I said, the book is philosophical on many levels, and I think that's why it kind of impacts people differently.
That's right.
What do you hope readers take away from it?
Well, that's just the thing, right? I mean, one of the things that are very significant to this story, because it's a very unique story, considering it's an experience. I'm not sure how grateful it is to interfere in the general global impression about it. So I just leave other people talking about it, because much like you said, it's a quite unique experience, and I think everybody who reads it, they can have it for themselves. So I don't want to spoil that pretty much.
Okay,
But
sure, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to say, tell me a little bit about your writing career. This is not your first book.
Actually, it's not. But what is significant about this one is that it's somewhat different, because it's however this story seems like to you, it's the most autobiographical thing I've ever written. And yet it's based on the special space, what happens when reality combines with the fiction. And that was very, by the way, that was very interesting for me to combine these two worlds, which is an opus of what I usually do, because much of what I do is that, like, writing fiction, but yet the foundation is reality. What happens when those two worlds intertwine? And then it's something very, very interesting to see. Yeah.
And it makes people actually question their reality. What is
Exactly.
reality? Once
Exactly.
you blur the lines, I mean, who's to say what is life, what is death,
Exactly.
what's a
Exactly.
dream, what is truly unknown, what's just unknown
That's
to
right.
us, right?
That's right. That's right, on spot. And so that's why, I thought, that's why I felt the title of it, it's very, very significant. Although I'm not gonna go into whether any of it's real or if it's not. That's what I let to readers. But
Yeah.
what I try to do is to to participate like both, to be writer and a reader, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Uh, so once you go into the woods, there's no telling what's gonna happen. It can be anything. But I think the woods is a very powerful engine for whoever's imagination, and I let that to others to talk about it.
Tell me what it was like writing this book. How long did it take you? Did you write it in the morning, afternoon, evening? Were you very disciplined about writing? Did it come to you suddenly as just inspiration, or is it something you had to flesh out over time?
Right. Well, I can tell you that writing process is very, I mean, it's very strange,
Mhm.
and I keep realizing each time, and I think the best way to describe it is whatever I'm into, whatever I'm looking for, whatever I write, I look for one thing and one thing only. I mean, as foundation, I look to be surprised. So I don't even know what that is. Like I keep discovering it each time I sit on that table, right, or
Mhm.
whatever I'm at while I'm writing. But it had I guess it had sort of like a special intensity to it.
Mhm.
um and that's kind of addicted, because like once you feel that, you want to keep pushing, you want to keep reaching that, and you don't have you don't catch that feeling each time the same way, right?
Yeah.
um so you keep discovering it, and that discovery bears a certain revelation, mystery, and most importantly, surprise. If I'm not surprised, that, I mean, that's not really how it works. And
Exactly.
I keep discovering that. So whatever it is, whatever, and it comes pretty much organically,
Mhm.
because it's personal for me. If I don't feel it personally, then I have to find that special niche, that special chord that leads me through the entire thing, and it's different each time. So I don't even know what that is, but that's why I come to realize how powerful ideas are. And this is something that was captivating me in my life while this is happening, because I was running a story, I was running this novel, or novella, however you will, uh, in time when I had a very, very difficult injury. Um, I was rehabilitated in the
Mhm.
institution for a very hard injury in my back,
Mhm.
and actually much of the novel came up there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how long it took for me. Like it was on and off.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm just, the one of the funniest thing about that is when I was running it, I felt like I would never finish it.
Yeah.
Like it took on and on and on and on, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but I like it, right? So yeah, that's
It
a
kind of
surprise
takes
moment for
on a
me.
life of its own. You don't know where it's going
Exactly,
to end because it'll end when it's over.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly. And
have you,
the
go
the
ahead.
one of the things that about that is that, like, I felt so strange when I came to so-called an end of it.
Mhm.
Because I don't believe in ends. I believe in in these because I'm not sure if the story can be ended.
Right.
Uh because there's always another way to take, and
Yeah.
that way bears its own story. It's very interesting process.
Absolutely. Before we leave you today, let me just ask you this. Have you thought about adapting this into a movie or TV series, perhaps?
That's so interesting you said that, because I have to tell you one important thing that you know um, I have been giving that a lot of thought, and much of my work, like most of my work, is based on that. Because I come from the background in movies. I'm a movie fan, so yeah.
Mhm.
Basically, whatever I write, there's a certain cadre behind it. There's a certain shot, and I write based on like how I would imagine a movie look like, right?
Right.
So each novel I write, the picture and the sound and all that, whatever movie has a very, very, very significant impact on that. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a very visual book. You can tell that you
Yes,
are imagining this in your mind, playing out
exactly.
real life when you were creating it. So, yes,
Yeah.
Hollywood, if you're listening, this would be a great movie. This would be a great series. It is called The Woods. It is written by a remarkable author. His name is Mark Relic. And the book takes readers into a mysterious realm, a realm that blurs rather, the lines between life, death, and the unknown, and it will challenge your perceptions of reality. It's a great book. It's a must read. It is highly recommended. Mark, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. You're very kind. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.